Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. You have a class at 10 o'clock?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll start. We'll not wait long because hardly we get 40 minutes. Okay, they will, whoever wants, they will join later. So I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to continue the yesterday's discussion.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Where is it? Okay, good morning, everybody. So we'll continue our yesterday's discussion. So yesterday we talked about what is tourism finance. Sorry, not tourism finance, financial management, international financial management. So we have discussed few points about the international financial environment, different modes of business. What is a transnational? So I'll do a quick revision. We have two types of global companies. One is a transnational corporation and the other one is the MNC or the multinational corporation. A transnational company is a company where other than its home country, it has business setups everywhere and it doesn't register in the home country itself. Okay, so for this transnational company, whole world is one place. Okay, it has no subsidiaries. It opens individual units in different countries. Decision making is being made at that country level itself. It is not global decision making based on the culture, based on where you are, the decisions are taken. So it is a decentralized system. They don't register in their home country. Okay, for that I have given you examples, Toyota and Vodafone. On the other hand, multinational corporation. It's a corporation where it is centrally operated in the home country and has subsidiaries all over the world. Decision making is centralized. Its registration is done in the home country. So for example, your Unilever, Microsoft, Walmart, all these are MNCs. Then we discussed about the different ways of doing international business. Okay. So we have discussed about export import. That is the most primitive form of international trade. Then the licensing system, franchising and joint ventures. Now next we'll discuss about acquisition of existing operations. Okay, so all these things we have discussed, we have to stop at this point. So sometimes what happens is a foreign company, if it wants to invest in a new country, it instead of getting up lay a plot, then building the machinery, bringing the machinery, building and all that, it goes and buys an existing operation. Okay, say for example, Walmart acquired Flipkart. Okay, so directly without anything, the market is set, products are set. Only thing is you're going and buying that existing company. Here problems like related to market research, infrastructural development, then consumer behavior, all these things, research is not, they don't waste time in all this thing. Everything, the setup is ready, they just go buy the shares and get into that market. Then firms can also penetrate new markets by establishing new foreign subsidiaries. So say for example, in one particular country, they don't have any business. They go there, buy the plot, make the building, take the permission, license from the government and set up a completely new system or corporation. Okay. Then the other mode of doing business is through direct foreign investments. Means here you are not opening a company as such, but you are just investing in by only buying the shares. You're situated in some another country, but you're investing somewhere else. Okay, say for example, many of our film stars invest in that country, Central American country called as Panama. Why? Because it is a tax-free country. So their money, they don't have to pay taxes where that money came from. Okay, so you are directly investing money. You're not opening a business as such. You're just investing on the stock level, not at the product or first level. Okay. So based on this, we have a diagram where it shows how different modes of business, what are the cash inflows and outflows. So if you're doing the primitive way of doing business, that is export and import, the cash inflows will be that money which you got by exporting the product, and the cash outflows will be that money you pay while importing a product. Okay, so that is the first diagram. And the second one is licensing, franchising, and joint ventures. The cash inflow means the money which comes into that company is from the service provided. Say, for example, you have given a license to a company in another country. So he or that company will sell the products and give you a part of commission for the service they have given to you. Okay. Similarly, franchising. I told you in franchising, what happens is the investment is made by the franchisee, and the franchisor will take part of the profits from that person or that company. Then if you are investing by acquiring an existing company or by setting up at a new operation, all your profits will become your inflows, and all the expenses you spend to make that operations run, that will be your outflows. Okay. So this is all about the different modes of doing business. Now we come back to the different theories of international business. Okay, so we'll start with the theory of comparative advantage. So theory of comparative advantage starts with the basic concept that every country is not specialized in everything. Say for example, India is known for, yes, anybody? Whoever wants to answer, please unmute and answer. What is India known for in the business sense?
Developing country.
It's a developed country, yes, but what is it famous for? Population? Yes, of course, but other than that, I'm talking about corporate sector. Or which type of specialization we are in? IT, okay, other than that?
Agriculture.
Agricultural, then? IT, agriculture, anything else? Yes, we are famous for our jewels, marbles, handicrafts. We have a big skilled population, right? So similarly, if you talk about USA, Japan, they are known for their technology. They are known for the money they have. These are the rich countries. So based on the specialization, say for example, your Southeast Asian countries, India, China, Malaysia, all these are labor intensive countries where you have huge cheap labor. So that's the reason why many MNCs are coming here and setting up their operations. The Make in India theme is based on this only. We are calling the capitalistic countries like USA, Japan, Europe, Germany, to be particular, and that. So we are asking them to come and set up the operation so that they will invest and our local people can get recruitment or employees. And here the labor is cheap. We have skilled people. So based on that, we can categorize countries of the world based on their comparative advantage. Some countries are good or known for their technology and money. Some countries are known for their cheap labor, what is available. So based on this, a country can specialize in some products. Say for example, Indian exports. What are mainly Indian exports? What are we known for? Yes, anybody? What are the major exports from India? I'm not asking imports, major exports. Is anyone? Don't say silent. Doing a live class and you people don't talk. It doesn't make sense. Yes. What are the major or important exports of India? IT is there. Other than that,
Cotton.
Cotton. So raw cotton or the finished garment? Which one?
Raw cotton.
Okay, raw cotton. Anything else?
Vegetables.
Vegetables. Okay. Then do you know that your you can say top MNC brands of garments. No doubt the brand is international, but they are made wholly and solely in India in small cities like Belgaum, Hubli, and so on. Whether it's your Ginny and Johnny, then what else? Can you name a few international garment brands? Yes. So major garment is one of the industry which is having a high export. So say, do you see that frequently there are sales of this Jockey, then Peter England, what is that, Levi's jeans, all so many things. Why do you have so many sales in and around India every now and then? What may be the reason? Yes, anybody? This is general knowledge question, okay? It's nothing to do with syllabus, but it definitely helps your syllabus. Yes, why do you think we have so many frequent sales? No one? This is because they are produced in and around India only. And if there is any slight change in the standards which they have been provided by the person who has ordered it, those full lot is discarded. Now what to do with the discarded products? You going to sell it as a sale so that at least your initial investment comes back. Okay, so all labor intensive products are exported from India, or all labor intensive products. For such type of products, India becomes, you can say, a platform where other countries come and invest. So they make it from here, then put their own international tag and sell it all around the world, say 5 times the original price. Why? Because of the cost advantage, because of the labor and the raw material available in India. Okay, so garment is just one of the example. If you go to Malaysia, Thailand, all your computer accessories, or what you can say, the keyboard, the mouse, all those are we can say produced in lakhs together quantity in these southeastern countries. Then the different computer companies take it, assemble and sell it at a higher price. So cost advantage, we may shift your business to some country, or because say if you want higher end products, you want technology products, you go to Germany, USA. Okay, why? You need the machinery or you need the capital. So based on what advantage each country has, you can specialize it and make a business out of it. Okay, so this is one theory of why people go international. Why? Because I'm having money, but I don't have cheap labor, I don't have cheap, not cheap, easily available raw materials. So for that reason I go international, because it's not available at home. So if I don't have a high-end machinery with me, I ask foreigners and import it. I don't have people here, I come to countries where there is abundance of skilled labor and I recruit people from there. So this comparative advantage between two countries of what have and they don't have, so that there is an exchange, whether it's labor, capital or raw materials, and this exchange of factors of production which will lead into international trade. So this is the first theory. Then second theory is imperfect market theory. Now for this, have you all learned economics anywhere? Yes, last year you all had economics? No, I don't think so. Okay. Yes, anybody? Do you have any knowledge about economics? Okay, we have two types of market. We say perfect market and imperfect market. Okay, so perfect market is a market where all products are same. All factors of production can move. Means there is not restriction to anything. You don't have labor, you can get labor from another neighboring city, town or country. You don't have capital. So there is free transfer of all factors of production. When I say factors of production, those 4 things which we require to produce anything. Okay, that is labor, capital, machinery and raw materials. So I don't have one particular thing. I can easily take it from another place or another country. Okay, such a market is called as perfect market. But do you have such a market in real world? We don't have it. Okay, always market in real world are imperfect. Okay, I may have one of the thing, but other thing if I don't have, I can't just pick it from another's pocket. Okay, हम चोरी नहीं कर सकते. Why? Because there are some restrictions between countries, some rules between countries. Okay, so this imperfection in market of not having everything will lead to international trade. So the markets from okay. So the cost restrictions related to transfer and other resources can create imperfection in the market, and so you have to go and get the permission in another country and take it. So this imperfection in the market will lead to an opportunity at the global level. Okay, it's not available locally, but I can't just take it just like that from another country. I have to go and take a permission, and from that permission I can make a huge amount of money. So this is imperfect market theory. The next one is the product life cycle theory. So I think you'll have studied product life cycle. Yes, please unmute your audios so that you can respond. What is the product life cycle? Yes, anybody? What do you mean by product life cycle?
New product introduced and its growth, ma'am.
Then?
The maturity level, ma'am, and the decline stage of the product.
Okay. So say, so when a product is introduced in the very introductory state, how are the sales? Huge or less?
No, ma'am.
Low.
Less, ma'am.
Low. Then what is the price of that product?
Price
High.
is also low, ma'am.
Low? Price is low? It depends. Okay, what type of product it is. It may be low or high depending on the type of the product. Okay, if that product is having many substitutes, the price will not be high. Okay, if it is a very special unique product, definitely price will be high. Andre other the replica ellu sigudilla. It's a very unique thing, then the price will high. So price will differ. So as the sales increase, people come to know sales will increase, we say it is growing. Right? Yes, second stage. Third stage maturity, andre bhala dina aitu launch ಮಾಡಿ bhala jana ಈಗ use ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. There is no room for further increase in sales. ಅವಾಗ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಈಗ 1-2 ವರ್ಷ 5 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ, ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. But you are not getting new customers. Rather, the existing customers are a bit bored about that product. So what you should do?
Introduce new product.
Yes.
Introduce new product and
new product,
updated.
Totally new product. ಇದು existing ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು? ಇದು
update.
Update. So you are going to upgrade your product. That is one thing. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಪ್ಪ ನಮ್ ಕಡೆ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಪ್ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಅಷ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ನಂಗೆ ಪೇಷನ್ಸ್, or I'm not in a mood to upgrade. जो है वो चलना चाहिए. What should you do next? This is a stage where the concept of international business comes. So you are producing, you have ಈಗ ಅಪ್ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನನ್ನ ಗೋಡೌನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? I can push that product. Discount. Yes, you can push it by discount. But discount ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಈಗ ಮತ್ತೆ next time when you are again producing, then people will ask you at discount only. Or rather people are bored of your product, they do want to buy. ಅವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? Then you can, if you have such can say, if you have such an advantage, you can think of pushing that product in a new market ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಆ product available ಇಲ್ಲ. Best example is your Korean products or European products are pushed in Indian markets, right? We are talking about now not double door refrigerator also. We are talking about that new refrigerators which are side by side, right? Do you think it is the latest product? No, it is a 15-year-old technology in Europe and USA. Okay, your Korean and European many electronic gadgets, they have already prepared it. Other advanced version or prepare ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಈಗಾಗ ಮತ್ತು ಲೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕು. ಆ ಹಳೆ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಈಗ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? So they are thinking in this Asian market where this thing is totally new. Okay, ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಪ್ಗ್ರೇಡೆಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೋಮ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು? ಅದನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪುಷ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು? ಇನ್ ಡೆವಲಪಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ where they have not seen that product totally. Okay, so आपका पुराना माल भी चल रहा है, नया माल चल रहा है. So if you can push your products in the maturity level to another country where it is a totally new market. Okay, so on basis of this can say concept, this product life cycle theory is established. So this is the first stage. Firm creates product to accommodate local demand. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ ಈಗ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಬಟ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. Then and I reach the maturity level, the firm exports the product to accommodate demand. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಹಳೆ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯು ನಾಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಅ ನ್ಯೂ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ದೇರ್, ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬಿಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಬಿಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ. ವಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ದೇರ್ and set up my subsidiary and start to use there itself so that my transportation cost will decrease. Okay, so firm establishes the third stage. Or it can do two things here. One, in the next stage what will do, foreign businesses decline. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಬಹಳ ದಿನ ಆಯ್ತು ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಈಗ ಅದು ಡಿಕ್ಲೈನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು? You can do one thing is you can cut down the operations there and search new market, means another country. Or the second option is you can upgrade product. If you want to upgrade, you have that resources, you can upgrade, or you just close down the business in that foreign country and search for a new market there. So this is a product life cycle theory. Yes, any doubts?
Your voice is breaking, madam.
Voice is breaking. Just check out network.
Yes, it's not clear.
There is no issue in network. Mute your audios. We'll check it out. There is some disturbance. I don't know where. There's somebody speaking at the background. I don't know who it is. Yes, now it's clear. Can you message me?
No, madam.
Yes, it's clear. Is it breaking now?
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's a problem with the network. There is some disturbance. Some noise is coming from where, I don't know, somewhere. Any doubts? Anybody, please ask. I don't start a new concept because I'll not be able to finish it. Yes, any doubts, please ask. Anybody? Any doubts?
No.
No, ma'am.
Yes, no doubts? Understood everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll be sharing you this recorded video if you want, or the slides if you want. Do you want me to share that recorded video?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. In a couple of days, both yesterday's video and today's video I'll share with you. Okay. Yes. Any other thing you could ask? There's a lot of disturbance. So today everybody's present. 1, 2, 3. Everybody. Okay, then we'll meet next week. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. If you have any doubts, you can please message me or WhatsApp me. Okay. And I'll be
Yes,
sharing the
ma'am.
video maybe by tomorrow or after tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.